evening, ladies. Welcome to Growing Together with Grace. I am Cathy.
I'm Ellen.
We're so glad you're here with us this evening. We are continuing our series on friendship, and we're very excited. I've already had a few people actually reach out to me via text, friends that I knew previously, just, hey, I'm really enjoying this series.
Good.
So that's encouraging.
I'm so encouraged by that.
Or even just like, hey, I just listened to your first episode and hearing your story and Ellen's story. Just thank you for sharing how God has changed your life. So,
that means a lot, ladies.
yes, it sure does.
When you do a venture like this and you're not sure how your audience is feeling or what they think, that's encouraging to hear.
I agree.
That's really cool.
I agree.
I love this book, though. I'm really enjoying the book.
I mean, it's been great for me in that it's made me think more carefully about some things. It's helped me think about, okay, what kind of friend am I? Am I the friend that really does love God and love people? And what areas in my relationships and friendships am I weak at, and how can I grow in that? And even like thinking about some friendships that are in a funky place right now and trying to think through, okay, like, do I reach out to them? Do I not reach out to them? I need to let them have space. Those kinds of things.
Now I'm hitting the mic.
Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah. It's, for me, this book has been challenging to me because it's challenging me to get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because I am always in my little shell because I'm such an introvert. And it's really challenged me to reach out to other people, not be so afraid to make friends and be vulnerable again. Yeah. So this has been a challenging book for me, but just a godsend.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Sorry, this is not our book review episode, but we had to chat a little bit.
Yes, we got through the section of discovering and deepening friendships.
And that's what this episode will be about. So we're just going to continue the Q&A that's at the back of the book and asking each other the questions and hearing each other's hearts and what we think about this particular aspect of friendship. So, Ellen, I will start with you. One of the first questions. By the way, I love how she titled this particular chapter. It is called Be Kevin Bacon.
It made you want to read the chapter.
Yes. I'm like, what does she mean by Be Kevin Bacon?
Exactly.
Anyway, all of this to say, the first question that she wants us to think about and talk about is, are you a person who generally goes toward others in friendship, or do you wait for people to come to you?
Oh, okay. So for me, because again, I'm an introvert, I had always waited for somebody to come up to me.
Yeah.
Now, in the past several years and being married to my husband, who is very much an extrovert, I have gotten better about going to other people and talking to other people, introducing myself and kind of making that first step. It's out of my comfort zone. I challenge myself to do that because I don't do that enough. So, but all my life, if I had to say, I was always a person that would just hang back and wait for somebody to come up to me and say something to me.
But I have to say, ladies, I've been witnessing and seeing a little bit of a change in Ellen the past few months. She drove to San Antonio by herself.
I know.
To hang out with a bunch of women and men who are part of
my fitness group.
Yeah. By herself. Yeah. That's not an introvert thing, my friend.
No. It was a little bit, I don't like driving by myself.
Yeah.
And I remember gripping the steering wheel, and that was part of my social anxiety. Because I even remember I talked with Chad. I'm like, I am not going. I don't want to go. And I was literally coming up with excuses not to go to this thing.
Yeah.
And when I got there and I saw some of the people that I already knew, and then I met the other people that were part of my group who were in our group, a Facebook group, I'm so glad I went.
Awesome.
I was so blessed. And they blessed me. And I know some of the ladies were like, you're such an inspiration. And I'm just like, oh, it was just really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And I'm glad I didn't be my normal self and be like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
Yeah.
I had a good time and I'm glad I went.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been fun to see that aspect of you come out.
Well, I already know what you're probably going to say, but what about you?
Well, I generally go towards people. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a little bit too much, and I'm trying to learn to scale back. Yeah. And what I mean by that, ladies, I mean, you don't need to get super personal the first time you meet somebody. Yeah. It's really hard for me to be like, let's talk for 4 hours and tell me your whole life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am generally someone who goes towards, and I will even, I think I said this in a little bit in last week's episode, but I'll say it again here. Mm-hmm. I also will help friends come towards one another. Yeah. I'll be like, I think we were texting about this earlier. Yeah. I think she calls it the friend whisperer.
Yes.
I'm like, this is me,
Ellen.
That
is so you. I remember reading that chapter going, oh my gosh. There's literally one chapter. I'm like, this is the Cathy chapter. Yes.
This person and this person would be good friends. So I'm going to go to this person and be like, hey, you would be great friends with this person and this is why. And I love it. I love doing it.
Yeah. But you're really good at it though.
Thanks.
Yes. It has given me inspiration to try and be better about that.
So that means you should call me the friend whisperer.
She is the friend whisperer, y'all.
Here's the thing though. I'm terrible about being a matchmaker. Terrible. When it comes to being in high school and college, I'd be like, oh, this person and this person, let's get them together. And they're like, no. There was one time that I thought it might work. I was like, I might have my first match. They dated for 4 months and then it was like, no,
it didn't work out.
I was so bummed. But anyway, terrible matchmaker.
So
all right. So the next question in this chapter called Be Kevin Bacon. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say that a lot. I apologize. Yeah. I just think it's so great.
Well, the reason behind that is because she talks about the character Kevin Bacon in Footloose.
Yes.
And how he is the one at the very last scene who initiates, if you've seen Footloose, he initiates everybody dancing.
Yes.
Because they're so disconnected from each other. Mm-hmm. He was the one that walked into the scene and then starts doing that dance. Yeah, that dance routine.
And then they all connect.
Yeah. So
I love it.
I love that. This was a cool chapter.
It was a cool chapter. The next question, Ellen. Mm-hmm. What does the biblical command to love one another have to do with being willing to push through the awkwardness?
So we're called to love one another because Christ loved us.
Yeah.
And we have to love one another so that eventually our love for Christ comes out through us.
Right.
When we're loving, loving and open to another person, being friendly with them and wanting to initiate a friendship with them. It's because we're called to love one another because Christ loved us first.
Yeah.
I think that is, that's what helps us get through that awkwardness, because there's always been that one person that, wants to be a part of that. In fact, she alludes to this in one of the chapters in the book. I don't remember if it was from the Be a Kevin Bacon, but there's always that one person that wants to be the one that wants to be a part of something. And nobody, she talks about cliques. Nobody wants to be a part. That it's always that one person that's an outsider. And, we're called to love one another because Christ loved us. What about you?
Well, I'm going to jump on there and just add, if you think about it, Christ loved us when we were even sinners, right? We are sinners.
Yeah.
He loved us when we were imperfect people. He left the throne, came to live a humble life, died on the cross, rose 3 days later. That's how much he loved us. Like, we hated him. We wanted nothing to do with him. We despised him and rejected him.
Yeah.
And yet, he still loved us and died on the cross for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a reminder to me, like, okay, if my friend and I don't agree on this particular thing, then push through it. Be like, I still love you. I don't agree with you. I still love you.
Yeah.
Now, there is something to be said, and I'm no expert on this, but I think we have to be careful. There are times where you can't push through it anymore. Like, I'm thinking about domestic abuse, for instance. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're in a marriage and your spouse is abusing you and you've done everything possible to remedy the situation, to reconcile the situation, you've gone to get counseling, you've gone to your church leaders, and nothing's changing. Like, it is still okay. And it's still loving for you to be like, I love you, but I cannot be a part of this anymore. It is not safe. And walk away from that, but still love that person, but not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
like, there's boundaries. There are boundaries you have to create to protect yourself.
Yes, I agree.
So, but, a little thing, like, I'm thinking about a situation with Melody and I when we were roommates in college. I don't even remember what it was. She might remember what it was, and we can talk about it when she's on here. She was upset, and I was mad, and we were both stomping around doing our thing, and, like, I threw a purse in her room on her floor, and I don't remember what it was. But at the end of the day, we came back together and, like, okay, clearly one of us hurt one another by our words, and let's not continue this way anymore. This isn't loving to each other, and it's not loving the Lord. And so we reconciled. Praise God for that.
Yeah.
And so, we pushed through the weird, I don't even remember what it was, the weird point in our friendship of, like, we were mad and frustrated, and we pushed through it. And so
every friendship is like that.
Oh yeah.
You'll get frustrated with somebody. I mean, it happens.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to add to that.
Yeah.
Okay, our next question. What can you do today, or let's just, for sake of time, tomorrow or this week, what can you do to initiate connection with an acquaintance or friend?
Oh, so this chapter had some great ideas on how to do that, and I wish I could remember, but a lot of the ideas that she gave were some of the things that I'm kind of already trying to do, like inviting a friend. I mean, my first thing that I started when we just joined our new church was I timidly asked, "Hey, do you want to go and get coffee?" And both of the ladies, we went at different times. I went with each lady, one-on-one. They were both like, "Yes. When do you want to do it?" And so it just took me asking, it took me going out of my comfort zone. I keep talking about comfort zone and wanting to do that. Like stopping by, dropping off something for your friend that's struggling with something. Just even texting them, my best friend Kelly and I, we don't talk on the phone. We text each other. We try to do it at least every day, or do it every other day. Just, hey, how are you doing? Oh, we had a good day, had a rough day. I'm sorry, love you. But just to know that we're on each other's minds. And even just, I think, even just praying for them. There's just so many things that you can do. And she gives a list of things in this chapter. I don't know if you remember some of the things, but just simple things. You have to initiate that. What about you?
So some of the things that she lists, I can share real quick. She talks about texting. She talks about even writing a letter in the mail or sending a card in the mail. Like, that goes a long way.
Yeah, nobody does that anymore.
No, like, there's a few ladies in my life who will send me cards in the mail, and it is just, it's something special because it takes it's more like time and work. Like you're
Yeah.
writing a letter, you're putting it in an envelope, you're writing, like you're really thinking about the person. Not that the texts and the emails aren't that way, but it's just a
Yeah.
different kind of special love, I think. And so when I do get letters like that or cards like that in the mail, I actually have a whole stack on my desk that I'm working on putting in a photo album. Just it's really quite a blessing to receive things like that. So I try to once a month, I try to send a letter or a card to one of my sisters or good friends. One of the things I'm thinking about for our new church, I'm thinking of actually starting the card ministry of going through the church directory and just sending a card to the ladies in our church directory, letting them know, hey,
I
I'm
love that.
praying for you. Encouraging verses or something.
Yeah.
So definitely sending something in the mail like that. I've even gone on Amazon before and sent my old pastor's wife. I knew that she was going through a tough season, and I clicked on Amazon and I ordered her a book that really encouraged me and blessed me in a difficult season, and I sent it to her.
Yeah.
So even like sending a gift in the mail is one way you can make the connections.
Yeah.
Recently, I would say for me, there's been a few women that God keeps bringing up in my mind at our new church. I'm like, I really want to get to know this family. I want to get to know her. And so I've actually reached out to a few of them on Facebook.
Oh.
Because we talk a little bit at church, but sometimes these mamas are gone before I'm able to get to them and talk to them.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to them and said, I'd love to grab coffee with you sometime. Let's figure it out. I still live far away. Let's figure out a time where we can make that happen.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's really just reaching out and inviting them to coffee. That's my number one favorite thing is like, let's go grab coffee and talk about life.
Yeah.
Texting happens a lot. You mentioned how you and Kelly text. Mel and Jill and I text quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I have Marco Polos with a few friends and sisters where we send each other Marco Polos. I try to send a text on Mondays at the beginning of the week to
that's a good idea.
My close friends, be like, hey, just want you to know I'm thinking of you ladies. I'm praying for you. If there's anything specifically I can be praying for you this week, please let me know. I want to pray.
Yeah.
And then so Mondays are my like for sure I'm sending this out. And then Wednesday is my midweek check-in, and then Friday hey, how was your week?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that sometimes we're texting all throughout the week.
Yeah.
Like funny videos or funny scenarios or whatnot.
Yeah.
So anyway.
All right.
All of that to say.
Nice.
Okay, so we're done with that section.
Yeah.
My favorite be Kevin Bacon. This particular section, I loved this section so much. This chapter was called Back Doors. And the chapter opens up where she talks about be backdoor neighbors.
Yeah.
And the whole thought and idea was like, when people come into your front door, usually it's like, wow, everything's like perfection.
Yeah.
Your home is immaculate. Everything's clean and nice and lovely.
Yeah.
But when you come into the back door, you see like muddy paw prints everywhere, mess everywhere. So the idea that she has behind that is to like, let's be real. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Let's be that kind of friend. And we shared this in one of our episodes on how we met.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care how messy your house is.
You want to know something funny? I had praise team practice today, and we have a thing at church tomorrow. It's like our 4th of July get together after church, and it's a potluck. And so I'm getting up on stage, and the girl that's singing in praise team this week, like, we're on a rotation. I was like, oh yeah, Chad's, we're gonna make dessert. Oh, you signed up to make dessert. She goes, is he making bread pudding?
That's funny.
And I'm like, well, it's either going to be the bread pudding or my honey bun cake. And she goes, oh, I really like the bread pudding. And then her husband, who was sitting in the sound booth, goes, I'm still waiting for that steak dinner. And then our music mister goes, he was fixing the microphone to the piano. He piped up and goes, wait, steak dinner? What steak dinner?
Oh, poor Chad. I'm sorry, Chad.
And his wife, who was singing on Priest's team, was like, yeah, we're still waiting for the steak dinner.
That's
so
funny.
anyways, I had to say that anecdote because it was funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, I wanted to talk about all the questions in this chapter because I think they're so good.
Yeah, they're good questions.
Okay, so what excuses keep you, Ellen, from inviting other women into your home?
My house is a mess.
I knew you were going to say that.
Literally. I mean, we're teachers, so we bring our stuff home, and we're just, I hate to say it, we're hoarders. Like, Chad goes, we just have too much clutter. We just need to get rid of the clutter. We need to organize the house better. That the kids have moved out, so there's no excuse. But it's summertime and we're just so tired. And there's just, like our house is older. There's things that we need to fix in the house.
Yeah.
You have to walk through our bedroom to go to the bathroom. So just little things like that. Like, I have anxiety. I want people to come over to my house, but then I'm like, okay, I'm really nervous. Like, they're going to say, oh my gosh, their house is a mess or whatever. I have that fear in the back of my head, and people keep assuring me, we want Chad's steak.
See, that's all you have to do. Just make the steak.
I know.
They'll be so like high on the deliciousness of the steak, they won't even see the
They've
mess.
already had his guacamole. They've had the bread pudding.
That's funny.
He made something. Oh, he made his pasta. So they're just kind of like, we want to taste a steak. But anyways,
that's funny.
I have this fear that people are going to judge my house. And I know that's a horrible thought, but that's my fear. That's my social anxiety.
I'm jumping in here real quick, okay? Are you finished? I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt,
yes,
but I need to say this for you, but say it for everyone else and myself included. If you have friends that come into your house and look around and be like, oh, look at her floorboards. They're nasty, dirty, and look at this. You don't need that in your life. Like, you just don't. Like,
you're right.
Like, you want people in your life who are going to show up in the mess and all. I've literally, like, one of my dearest friends, and I just love her so much. She was going through a really rough season. Like, life was so busy for them. They were, her and her husband are full-time workers. Just tough. And we were supposed to have a mom's like get together, and she's like, I can't. My house is a wreck. It's a mess. I'm like, I'm showing up and we're going to clean. I'm going to clean your house. I'm going to help you clean your house. I don't care. Like, I know how much you were looking forward to this and how much you wanted to have women in your home. And so I say all this to say, like, find the people who aren't going to walk into your house and judge the way that your home looks. Like, judgy people, like, just suck the life out of you. They just do. So,
you're right. Yeah.
But I've totally seen, I've been there. I've been like, I'm about to invite a whole group of women I've never met in my life into my home, and they're going to walk in. Our home is a little bit older. Like, what are they going to think? Like, things are falling apart and breaking. Like, floor pieces are breaking. Like, know what?
I have a part of my floorboard where it's coming up, and when you step on it, it bounces. It's like, oh, gosh,
it's like, you know what? This is character. My house is character. I'm character. If they can't take all of this, I don't got time for them.
Oh, you have a good point.
So
I know it's my fear, and everybody at our church. I love the people at my church, and I'm just like, Chad, we just need to clean the house at least where it looks presentable, and invite people because they're not going to believe that you can make a steak.
Trust me, I've had it. He can. So for me, what excuse is? I will say that I'm in a weird season right now because I feel like I'm just a visitor in my home because I know we're moving, right?
I gotcha. Yeah.
And so I'm like, ugh. Like, well, first of all, we want to invite people from our old church, but we live so far. Like, we're an hour from almost everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to expect them to drive an hour to come have dinner with us. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to get creative and figure out how to make that happen. And so, one of the ideas is having lunch with a family after church on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to start doing that until we move closer.
Yeah.
But so for me, some of it's distance is my excuse.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'm a stay-at-home mom. And sometimes by 5 p.m. I am so peopled out because I have been, dealing with a teenager or a preteen, and not dealing, I don't like that word, or a toddler. And I'm just like 5 p.m. comes and I don't want to like socialize. I just want quiet.
Yeah. No, I understand because that's my other reason sometimes is I work full time.
Yeah.
And I'm a teacher, and there are literally days where I get home and I look at Chad and we just look at each other as like, it's been a day.
Yeah.
I'm tired. And I'll fall asleep if I sit down. Usually if I sit down in the chair, I am taking a nap.
Yeah.
Because I'm so tired sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I'm just, it's tiring. When I have during the school year, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
I get
Anyways.
it. Okay. So the next question is, why are our homes such helpful tools for discovering and deepening friendship?
So I think in regards to that question, your home is your place. It's where people will, in a sense, I wouldn't say judge, but like see how you are as a person. They'll see, what your house looks like, and you're being vulnerable because you're inviting them into your home. You're opening your home up to them. That means you're opening up your life to them. You can go have dinner or have coffee somewhere, but it's not your place. Your home is your place, and it represents you. So, I also think that it's a place, it's a private place where if you're in your friendships, if your friend is struggling through something, that's a place to go private, cry, pray. It's also a place where you can make memories with your friends, just like family, in a sense. What about you?
So I would add to that. I think that when you open up your home, like you said, like people come in and they get a little bit of who you are. They can see pictures that you have. They can. One of the things that I do is I actually go to whenever we're invited into a new home. If it's out and accessible, I look at the bookshelves.
Yeah.
Because I can tell based off the books.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, this person really loves biblical counseling, or this person really loves youth ministry or women's ministry or fantasy or fiction. So I get kind of an idea of what this person thinks about and likes and talks about and whatnot. I also think in homes, it's like a safer space in that, like, when you're around the dinner table and you're having conversations, you feel more comfortable to share more of your story than if you were at a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to go into like deeper discussion on stuff.
Yeah.
So I just think a home kind of opens the door, like you said, of let's be vulnerable with one another.
Yeah. Totally agree.
So, okay. So with that question, then my question to you, Ellen, would be, how does the world's idea of hospitality sometimes hinder our attempts as friendship?
I think hospitality, the worldly view of hospitality is...
I think of Pinterest.
Yes. Or your house needs to look this way. Like, it needs to be on the open magazine of Better Homes and Gardens. Like, it has to have this... because I've been in some houses, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I love this person's, the way they decorate, the way they have set up their house. I love this. And then I always compare myself to my house to their house. And I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
I can't invite them into my house because my house totally looks the opposite of that. And so I think it's that mindset of my house needs to look perfect.
Yeah.
See, I need to still get out of this mindset. My house needs to look perfect. It needs to be it needs to look like an open cover of a magazine, a home magazine,
Mm-hmm.
and so, or like you have to cook this elaborate meal. And the world just, everything has to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not perfect homes.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I think of the worldly view of what hospitality needs to be like. What about you?
There's not much that I would add to that. The only thing I would say is I've gotten to the point now where, right now as we're talking and your husband and my husband are in there talking, there's literally laundry on my couch, not folded and put away.
See, I didn't even notice that. Of course, your baby was bringing me all of her toys. So,
there's toys everywhere. There's laundry everywhere. Yeah. Like the floors haven't been swept or mopped. I'm like, you know what? Like, it is what it is. Like we're close enough now that I'm like, you know what? Yeah. If you have a problem with it, why don't you fold it? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I did. You said laundry. I'm like, what laundry? I didn't even notice the laundry on your couch.
So
today.
I've gotten to that point now. Like I have friends now where I can actually, and I love this. I love these friends. I can show up to their house. Like, okay, you clearly need help folding your laundry right now. I'm going to help you fold your laundry.
Yeah.
Or you want to go through all of the baby clothes to see what you have? Let's go through all the baby clothes. Let's do it together while we watch a show.
Yeah.
And talk and what is happening in the show, Yeah. So it's being real and doing life not Pinterest. However, there is something special and something to be said about showing up. Like if I've had in the past, I've done Christmas cookie exchanges. And I want my house to be clean and welcoming and inviting. And I want it to smell like Christmas. And I want there to be quiet Christmas music playing in the background. There's something to be said about creating a welcoming environment, but not at the expense where you have lost your mind and you're mad at your husband and your children. And you're like, I don't even think these people should come over because this is, just be like, hey, real talk. I have laundry on the couch.
I think about Mary and Martha in the story with Jesus and how, was it Martha? Martha was just fretting about everything, making everything perfect. And Jesus finally told her, hey, you're worrying about the stuff that you don't need to be worrying about. You need to be focused on what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
She's listening to what I'm saying. You're too worried about all the other stuff that's going on around you and not listening to what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that makes me think about that a little bit.
So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
So let's jump to question 5 then, Ellen.
Going back and forth with this button.
What is one way you want to grow in extending hospitality to other women in your life?
Well, I am really, really still working on this, and it is a challenge for me. I'm just because of the way I am, and I am really wanting to just be open and vulnerable with the ladies at my new church. Like when I say vulnerable, I mean like not afraid to just come up to them and have a conversation with them. I've already asked a couple women to go to coffee. I've gone to dinner with some of them, and I have a heart for ministering to other women.
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually, I would love it if we could do a Bible study together or group study together, or even I love to go on a walk, like a group walk or something.
Yeah.
Just kind of extending it a little bit. That's still a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I'm still working on that for me because I do have social anxiety. That's terrifying to me to try and reach out to somebody because I fear that I'm going to be rejected. And so that's always a thing that plays in my mind.
So I'm going to jump in here real quick because as you're talking, I'm thinking about this. So a few years ago, I read a couple books on hospitality. I tend to do this, y'all. If you don't know this yet, now you will get to. I get excited about a particular topic, and then I just read all the stuff on that topic. So a few years ago, it was on hospitality. And one thing that I took away from one of the books that I read, off the top of my head, was The Gospel Comes with a House Key, which was really great in a lot of ways. There were some things I'd push back a little bit on, but for the most part, it was really great. One of the things that I took away from that season, though, of reading and thinking about hospitality and what it looks like is like gifting. Like, we obviously know that some people are gifted, are given the gift of hospitality, and some others have to work at it. But as a believer, we're called to be hospitable people. Now, the thing that I took away from that whole time period was this, and I shared this in a women's Coffee and Jesus fellowship at our old church. If you are somebody who is more of an introvert, like here's an example. This is me being the friend whisperer. You want to connect to the women at your church more and invite them in more, but you are more of an introvert and struggle with social anxiety. Okay. Well, guess what? Think about the friend in your life who's more of an extrovert and who loves to like host and talk. Okay.
Yeah.
And then pick a day. I'm literally giving you a homework assignment, by the way, right here on the podcast. Look at your calendar. Do it before school, before it gets busy, or at the very beginning. Pick a day and invite women into your home. And you don't have to be the host. Hello. Your pastor is a fantastic people seeker, talker. You know, you could be like,
he is.
You could be like, hey, Amber, I really want to invite the ladies at church into my home one evening for like a fall get together.
Yeah.
I would love it if you would be the hostess person.
Yeah.
Because you are more the extrovert than I. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so those are ways to get creative. Think about how can you use the friends in your life to help encourage you to be better about it. And so sometimes it is you are great about opening your home, but you would prefer somebody else to be the host. Face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I got it.
Anyway.
I like that idea. Yeah.
For me, I would say, how would I like to grow in being hospitable? This sounds like so like, I don't really know how I should grow in being hospitable.
I mean, you're pretty hospitable.
Maybe I can grow in, I don't really know, actually.
That's a hard question.
I don't know.
I mean, for me, I know that's a struggle for me. So that was easy for me to come up with, or easy for me to say what I was going to grow on in that, because that is a struggle for me.
Yeah.
So for you, I don't think it's that much of a struggle in some aspect. It is probably a little bit, but not necessarily all the time.
I would say probably my biggest struggle in being hospitable is the before scene.
Oh, yes.
Of like, I do tend to struggle with wanting everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
I need to like let that go though.
Yeah. I struggle with that too.
Anyway.
Ooh.
All right.
Wow.
Well, let me see. Okay, we're not that far in.
Yeah.
Let's just keep doing a few more questions, and then if it gets, we're watching the time, ladies, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, they're like, what are they looking at? We're looking at the time on the board.
We're trying to be more careful.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would be 45 minutes. It's not going to be.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
We're still trying, ladies.
It's just we got a lot of things we love to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, these are great chapters.
Yeah.
I don't know. What question? Should we just do one question from each? The rest of the section?
Yeah, I would say maybe let's do a question from each section. Although I'm looking at this chapter 11, I don't really know. I think we've talked a lot about this already in our previous episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe we just skip that section and go on to the next section.
The dance card I thought was a good chapter.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into that then. Sorry, ladies. We're a work in progress. So chapter 12 was about the dance card, and the idea was back in the 50s and 60s when you I think it was 50s and 60s. I don't know. Back in the day when you danced and you had dance cards and you'd be like, I have to check to see if I got a punch left for you.
Yeah.
It's the idea of make sure your dance card isn't too full where you can't be a good friend. So
yeah. Because a lot of times for us as women, we're mothers, we're busy, our calendar is full without it being intending it to be full.
Right.
And so the intent here is like what Cathy said, don't make it full. You need to make time for your friends too.
Yeah.
It needs to be.
So would you say, just to piggyback off what you were saying, Ellen, would you say that you tend to overfill your calendar to where it's hard to be a good friend?
Right now in the season of life that I'm in, not, I mean, it's full in certain aspects.
Right.
But in different ways, like it's appointments. Oh, I have a hair appointment. Or, Chad's got a hair appointment. Or, we're recording a podcast.
Right.
But when my kids were young, it was like, oh, we got a soccer game here. We got a swim meet here. Oh, we have a choir thing here. Oh, I have open house.
Yeah.
So I think when my kids were younger and they were still at home, it was just full of kid activities. Not necessarily intending it to be full because I'm making it full. It's, with my children. But now that our children are adults, I feel like we have more time, more things to be open. But we have a wide range of our friends. Like we are the older ones. Like with y'all, you guys can't necessarily get together because like you may have a sick child, or one child has a baseball game, or they're doing this or that, which is understandable because you have kids that are busy and active,
right?
So I really think it's what season of life you're in. I didn't intentionally make my calendar full because I wanted it to be full. It was just because of life.
Yeah.
What was happening. What about you?
So, let me chat just a little bit about, like, because you're not in that season. So now you have more time essentially, right? That's why I love the perspectives we bring to the table. Yeah. I am in a season where I have kids and activities and stuff, or a toddler. And in fact, I think there was one month we couldn't record.
Because you guys were sick.
Yeah, like my toddler got sick and then my next kid got sick. I'm like, So here's the thing, though, I will say to this. For the moms who have children that are involved in all the activities, don't stop inviting. You all came to one of Joshua's baseball games. Remember? In the fall, you were there and the Rowans were there.
Oh, yeah.
Like y'all came to one of his games.
Because it was in it was literally, we walked out of the back, our backyard is lined up to a park. Yeah. And that's where Joshua was playing. You're so right. We did go.
Y'all came and we hung out. Like, so I say that to say, like, moms who have kids and things, invite your friends to them. Yeah. And they may be able to come. And if they can't, they can't. But just keep inviting them, letting them know, hey, we want you in our lives. Yeah. But here's how our life is right now. Come to them. Like, I've invited my best friend and her husband. We invite them every year to our kids' Christmas recitals. Yeah. And they've been twice, I think, maybe twice. They've come. Yeah. And so that's how moms who have littles or even kids at home, just invite your friends, and they may come, they may not, but that way they know that you want them in their lives. You know what I mean?
Good idea. Yeah.
So, the question, talking about, is your dance card too full and whatnot? And I would say that I'm in a season right now where it's not. I will definitely say the struggle that an extroverted person has is I do have a lot of friends. Yeah. I don't have a lot of super close friends. I do have a lot. I mean, I have a few very close friends that I can think of off the top of my head, like you and a few others.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of other friends that I love to spend time with and have coffee with and talk about life with.
Yeah.
And so I don't get to see them as much as I would like to. That doesn't mean I still reach out to them through text.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I thought about you today. I hope you're doing well. And so I do try to be intentional in that way.
I do with my season of life. I have really been more intentional about reaching out more to people, whether it be through text, whether it be let's have coffee. I really tried to be intentional with that.
That's
I've tried to get
awesome.
out of my comfort zone in that,
That's awesome.
so
Awesome.
yep. I think it's just your season of life.
Yeah. So I really wanted to talk about this question. It's in the same chapter, so I'm just going to ask.
Yeah.
Have you ever been frustrated by a friend's limitations or lack of time for friendship? And if so, how can you respond graciously to their limits?
So I have a group of girlfriends, and they before our churches merged, um, everybody's going there, and so and our kids were all the same age. They grew up together. They swam on swim team together. All of that stuff. And then as we got busy, there were times where I was initiating, hey guys, let's have dinner. And then when I started getting excuses of, okay, I can't do this because we're busy here, here, that was frustrating to me.
Yeah.
Because at one point I was like, gosh, I feel like I'm trying to get, but we can't get together. And that was very frustrating to me. And so I don't think I was very gracious then, because it was just, when I look back on it, I was like, oh, I was being kind of selfish because I wasn't gracious in thinking, okay, give them the benefit of the doubt, take it easy because they do all have busy lives. I mean, it's not, because you have this kids the same age. So it may not be like they're intentionally trying to like not doing something with you. They really are busy. And so that was frustrating to me because that was a time in my life where I was struggling with trying to make more friends and trying to reach out and not feeling at times that I necessarily even fit into church sometimes.
Yeah.
So I look back on it now and go, oh, I wasn't very gracious about that.
Yeah.
So that was probably some frustrations when I was thinking about that question. I thought about that. What about you?
There's definitely been seasons where I have struggled thinking like, okay, this person's so busy. Like we can never get together. Like we'll reach out, be like, hey, let's go get dinner.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd love to grab coffee with you. We can't. Also on my end, there have been times where I know that I've probably been the friend that's been, oh, she can never get together,
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to, like you, be gracious and kind and understanding.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people are in a season where they can't. And instead of like pouting about it, think, okay, well, how can I show up like for this? Like, how can I really want this friendship to work and be in this person's life? Like how can I show up for them and be a part of whatever it is? So stuff like that. And being okay if it's like if 2 months go by and you've not been able to actually meet together in person,
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that I'm thinking about and working through.
Yeah. It's hard.
It is. And like you said, like be gracious and kind. Well, this is the last question that I really wanted to discuss because I really liked it. And then we can close. So in this last chapter, Christine says that part of honoring others is connecting others. So what are some practical steps you, Ellen, can take to connect women with one another? How can you do that in your life?
I mean, I think I said this earlier, is just even saying, hey, you even kind of suggested it, like, hey guys, you want to try and get coffee? You want to get together and get some coffee? Um, or, I'm reading this book. I would love you guys to do a Bible study with me.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of going about it that way and trying to connect other women. And even just like the two ladies at church that I had coffee with, they actually used to have coffee together, but life got busy for both of them. And so I even thought about, gosh, I just need to get all three of us together. And then I was thinking of other women at church.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if we just do a big coffee thing and just get together and do it. But I have to have enough courage to do that.
Yeah.
But I would love to do that because, again, I'm trying to put myself out there and trying to connect not only myself with women, but other women together.
Yeah.
Because that's my desire in my heart is to mentor and minister to other ladies.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a great thing because women just love to get together and hang out and talk, But what about you?
So, I love connecting women to women.
Yeah.
I just love it.
You're really good at that.
So much so that
In fact, this chapter's called Friend Magnet. And I went, Cathy, Allison. This is her chapter.
Yes,
Sorry.
it is. Yes, it is. I would say that a couple years ago, it's been longer than that, maybe 5 years ago. I really wanted to get the women at our old church together and just get them around the dinner table even.
Yeah.
And so that particular year and a half, I would have game nights in my home and I would invite different women.
That's fun.
And so and I had a game called Who Knew, and it was a way to get to know other women. Super fun. That particular year, I also did coffee. I called it Coffee with Jesus. I've talked about it a little bit. And what that looked like was, an example was we did one on the month of November. So we did a Thanksgiving themed Coffee and Jesus, and people would bring Thanksgiving, pumpkin breads and pumpkin pies and stuff like that into the home. And then I reached out to women within the church asking if they would share their testimony. And then myself or some women that I just felt like had the gift of teaching, I encouraged and asked them if they would do a little devotional for the women.
Yeah.
And that was a sweet season of my life because I got to hear some incredible testimonies of women and hearing how God saved them and being reminded of wow, God is so amazing to save this person and this, And not only that, I got to be blessed by some of the women who did teach. There was one lady who spoke with such a kindness about her, about God's grace and kindness.
Yeah.
And I just I remember that particular devotion so well.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I loved this woman.
But
and
you're
her.
so good at that. I love that. Those are great ideas.
So I loved that season. And I'm looking forward to doing that again.
Yeah.
Lord willing, we will find a new home. We have not found a home.
Yeah.
I did mention, I think in our episode last week, we made an offer, but somebody put in an offer. Yeah. So keep praying.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready
really
to have
that house.
I did.
You did. And I saw it. I'm like, that's good.
I'm really ready though to start inviting people back into our home.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's fun.
Anyway, but I'm already thinking of, okay, Ellen, this is what we're doing. I'm going to make you. No, anyway.
Yeah, no. I love it.
Well, this was a great discussion on deepening friendships.
Yes.
And discovering, new friendships and how to deepen them and how to encourage them to grow.
Yeah.
So we were excited about this and looking forward to talking about it.
Yeah.
We hope it blessed you all. And if you have questions, please reach out to us.
Yeah.
We would love to hear from you.
Yeah.
That is it for tonight, though. So we will see you guys later, and we will look forward to next week's episode.
Yeah. We're hoping that we'll get our first guest speaker. We'll see.
Yes, we are hoping.
Yeah.
If not, we will do our next episode on this book.
Yep.
Which I believe is, what is it? Oh, being a friend.
Yeah.
This section is like how to be a friend.
And I think that's the last section.
It is the last section. So, and then we'll do a book review.
Yeah.
So,
love it.
Anyway, we're so glad you were with us this evening. We will talk to you later. I'm Cathy.
I'm Ellen.
Bye.
Bye.